Hello and welcome to NFL Experts. I'm Dave Kress along with Louie. Today this is our first fantasy episode, and we're doing way too early predictions. Quarterbacks, these are our top 5. And so number 1, Louie, who do you have?
Number 1, I'm going to have Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints. He was the number 1 leading scorer for quarterbacks in ESPN rankings. So I think Drew Brees is, and it's really close between him and Aaron Rodgers. But I like Drew Brees mainly, too, because of how the offense is run in Sean Payton's scheme. It's mostly passing, not a lot of running in the Saints' offense. So I look to see Drew Brees air it out a lot again this year. But it's really close between him and Aaron Rodgers. I would not be surprised if people put Aaron Rodgers ahead, of course. But I just think Drew Brees, he's got the weapons, and I think he's just going to keep on his stellar fantasy play for this year as well.
Well, I do have Aaron Rodgers at number 1, and he's just... if you had him like I did in 2011, he was just insane. He was unstoppable. And, now it's going to be different without Greg Jennings there, but even though it wasn't even like he was there last year, because he was injured pretty much the whole year. And then also Donald Driver's retiring, but that's not going to make too much of a difference. I still think Rodgers can run. I still think Rodgers is going to be number 1.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers in 2011 he was amazing, and he still was really good this year. But I just think he had a down year compared to what he was used to. So Aaron Rodgers is still my number 2 because, like you said, he did lose Greg Jennings and Donald Driver, but he still has amazing receivers and James Jones, who had about 14 touchdowns this year. You have Jordy Nelson who's still a solid receiver.
Yeah, and Randall Cobb, who just emerged,
who's actually becoming, it's not just a kick returner, he's becoming a full-out great receiver. And I'm not sure, there's a question mark still on Michael Finley, what his future is with Green Bay, but, I think Rodgers, no matter what's going to keep his stellar play going, and underrated speed as well, so his mobility is a factor in fantasy as well.
So he's your number 2. My number 2 is Drew Brees. For all the reasons you said, he's got great receivers with Jimmy Graham, tight end, but he's great. He spreads the ball out a lot. So obviously with Darren Sproles, he's a great quarterback. But we both agree on the rest of them. So number 3, we have Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady again is creating a stellar play at the fantasy position at quarterback. But I don't think that's going to last much longer. I think this year there's some question marks whether to see if Wes Welker comes back or Brandon Lloyd. That's interesting. Gronkowski's injury. But it's Tom Brady, and he's going to put up productive points this year. I just think that, he's getting older, so, there's just getting to be better options.
But even if Welker, I'm not a big fan of Brandon Lloyd, especially fantasy.
No, yeah, he's a good deep threat option, but if Brady loses a Wes Welker, he's huge. He led the NFL in receptions for the past 2 years, so that's a huge loss. But if they can get a guy like,
they can get like maybe
Percy Harvin.
Greg Jennings, Percy Harvin, and
there's trade Dwayne Bowe.
Dwayne Bowe, but he's looking to stay.
Yeah, probably.
But Mike Wallace maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of trade rumors, and maybe they even pursue a draft. I still think they need to address things in the secondary going to the Patriots. But back to Brady in fantasy, he's still obviously a starter. I don't like quarterbacks in fantasy, so that's why I don't think he's a first-round pick, but I think everybody else does. Great second-round pick for your starting quarterback, and he's still going to be elite this year. Number 4, we have Cam Newton. Dave, what's your thoughts on Cam Newton, the number 4 fantasy quarterback we have?
Well, Newton was insane in his rookie season in 2011. He kind of cooled down last year, but he still was playing good. He brought back Steve Smith, who looked great last year. If they can get another receiver, like maybe through the draft with like Cordero Patterson or someone, but Keenan Allen, but he's still going to be great. Obviously with the read option, like running, and so even his legs will get him a lot of points, disregarding his passing.
Yeah, do you think that Cam Newton's being overlooked because of all the great young quarterbacks?
Yes, but not fantasy.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
no, yeah.
Where do you like? I'd have RG3 in this ranking.
I think it's really interesting. I'd like to see
but...
someone make a article running down the best young quarterbacks ranking wise. I'd love to see where people, and not fantasy wise, and fantasy wise as well. But I think Cam Newton is still up there because he doesn't really get injured a lot, and he's a machine with that. I don't know. I think he is kind of being overlooked. But fantasy-wise, he's a stellar number one quarterback with the, like you said, the read option, which to me, he was the first one out of all these young quarterbacks to really excel in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cam Newton's just, I think just the mobile threat, that's why he's a top 5 running back. RG3 would be, quarterback, sorry. RG3 would be, I think, honestly, if he would have stayed healthy, I think you could have an argument that RG3 is maybe in this spot, or maybe takes the spot of the number 5 quarterback. But it's interesting to see what Cam will do this year. Like you said, they just need to get another receiver for Steve Smith who can't carry the load.
Well, maybe Brandon LaFell, he kind of showed up last year.
Yeah, LaFell was good too. You can always pursue like the draft, like you said.
All right, so number 5 we have Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Peyton Manning got amazing receivers, and Demaryius Thomas, and I think a sleeper in Eric Decker, who had double-digit touchdowns.
Funny, him and Brandon Stokely were just insane last year.
I know, Brandon Stokely. I mean, but I think that's the work of Peyton Manning.
That was Peyton.
Peyton Manning made Stokely into it. I mean, he's played with him before over in Indianapolis too.
Yeah.
Manning's a great number one quarterback. I mean, all these guys are going to be number one quarterbacks. I think Manning is a second-round pick, if not third. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I could see him going in the first. Just depends on how many quarterbacks are taken. But he's going to be stellar.
I'd easily take these other 4 over Peyton.
Definitely.
Well, the top 3 have been the same top 3 for the past 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
And I think this is the last. I'm not sure how much longer. I think all these young quarterbacks are starting to become.
Yeah, I mean, even Russell Wilson looks good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all 3 of them will be in the top 10.
I think this is the year where fantasy you're looking for all those young guys.
Even
because
Kaepernick.
so many. Honestly, I think there's going to be guys like Kaepernick who are overlooked because you're still focusing on the top 3, and then you're looking at. But there's that one guy that people forget about, like Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck
was really good. I mean, he was kind of hot and cold. A lot of interceptions, but it came with a lot of touchdowns because he throws the most out of any of these quarterbacks.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of NFL Experts. When we get more into it around June for fantasy, we'll have our top 15 fantasy quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. But for now, we're just doing top 5.
It's way too early.
Way too early, so be sure to follow me on Twitter at DaveCrestSports, Louie at DB Sports Talk, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe on YouTube.
Take it easy.